Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Title Blocks webinar. My name is Nick, and I will be doing the presentation with you today. Just like all of our previous webinars, everybody will be on mute. So if you do happen to have any questions at any point during our class, you can go ahead and type those in, and at the end of the class, I'll go through and I will answer any questions that may have come up. Also, at the end of the class, I will be sending out an email that's going to contain a document that's going to cover everything that we're going to look at in today's class. But should you happen to have any questions while going over that document, you can contact our support department. We are open from Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. So again, today's class is on customizing or looking at title blocks that you guys can use in your actual templates. So I'm just going to go over a quick overview of what we're going to look at. So the title blocks that you see are the automatically inserted title blocks in our default templates. And these are going to be a 24 by 36 size title block. And this just means that the title block size is what is going to be represented by the paper size you're going to be printing out on. So a 24 by 36 size title block is going to be printed out on an Arch D size sheet. And that's what we're going to focus on in today's class. But I will show you where you can get different size title blocks depending on the sheets that you're going to be printing to most commonly. So we're going to first look at how to insert a title block, and then we're also going to be looking at how to edit a title block. So first, let's look at inserting a title block. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start a new drawing. Now, the class that we're going to be talking about, or the topics we're going to be talking about in today's class, are essentially helping you try and to create a new template for future use. So we're going to use a template drawing that is going to be closely resembling what you would typically use in your area. So I'm just going to grab the new standard home construction template. This is going to have building locations that use a ground floor, a second floor, and a foundation. If you're more of a slab on grade area, then you can select the slab on grade title block or template. Again, I'm just going to use the new standard home, and I'm going to select create. This will again start a brand new drawing for us. And in this brand new drawing, we're going to see that we have a model view, and then we also have 4 individual sheets at the bottom. And these are again set up by default based on the template that was chosen. I'm just going to grab the floor plan option. And when I select it, we're going to see the title block that is already inserted on our sheet. And this is, again, just a 24 by 36 size title block in the landscape format. If we want to insert a different title block at a different size, or maybe we've created our own title block and we want to use that instead of the default Cadsoft one, you can do that. And there's a couple of different ways of doing that within Envisioneer. So if you are trying to use a title block that you've already created, then you're probably going to want to use the import CAD file option. And you can do this by going up to Insert and Insert or Import CAD file. And then you can actually go to the location on your computer where you have that title block saved, and then you're going to import it. So I'm going to go into title blocks, and I'm just going to grab the D1I size title block, and I'm just going to click on that. And then I'm going to say open. This is going to bring up the import dialog box. And in here, we can see the title block itself. We can see the actual size of the title block. We can adjust the scaling. But if the file was created correctly, it should be at the correct scale already. So all you should have to do is simply select Insert. Depending on the block itself, it may open up with actual attributes. Now, an attribute is going to be a set of text that has values defined, and you can actually edit those values as you're importing the actual title block. So as you can see in here, we can adjust the project address, the project name, the client name. We can adjust the sheet number, the scale, the date. All of that can be adjusted to, again, match exactly what we want for our title block. I'm just going to say OK. I'm just going to leave everything as it is, and then I'm going to be able to insert that title block into my drawing area. This will allow me to now use this title block, so I can delete this one out. I can move this one into place, and I can now print out my views in a landscape, in a portrait format instead of a landscape format. Another option for importing title blocks, I'm just going to delete this one out. If you like using the Cadsoft title blocks, they look exactly the way that you want. There's just some information you would like to change, like the size. You can go up and you can select under the blocks option. So if you go to Insert, Blocks, you can say Insert Block. Or if you like to use the buttons underneath the Insert tab, you're going to find Blocks, and you can select the Insert Block. This will open up the Insert Block dialog. And within this, there is an option to select a title block or an object that you want to bring in. By default, with all the templates that we send out, they have all of the title blocks already included. So there will be a title block for 8.5 by 11, 11 by 17, 18 by 24, 24 by 36, and 36 by 48. So those will be your different size title blocks, again, depending on what you normally print out to on your system. So let's say I want to print out an 11 by 17 instead of a 24 by 36. I would select the 11 by 17. I would say, okay. Again, I'm going to get attributes. I'm just going to leave those as they are. And I'm going to say, okay. And now I'm going to get a title block that's set up to print at an 11 by 17 size. So now when I go to import any of my drawings, I would need to make sure that they fit within this drawing area. Again, if you want to just take a look at the different options, you just go back to Insert Title Block. We'll do an 18 by 24. We'll say OK. And you can see the differences of each title block as you are inserting them. So again, each one of these is going to be a different size based on the option that you select. So we got 24 by 36, 18 by 24, and 11 by 17. So let's just delete these ones out. We're going to keep our original title block in here. And what we're going to do now is I'm just going to move this guy into place. And the next thing we're going to be looking at is editing a title block. So title blocks consist of lines, text, images, and attributes. You can edit its individual components or add objects to it to again create a more custom looking title block. Any changes or additions that you make are automatically saved to the block's definition, and any instances of the block in your entire project are automatically updated. And I'm just going to go back to the original here. So we're going to go back to our very first title block. And so we now see that title block is in our viewing area. Now, to edit a title block, there are a couple of ways that you can do that. You can simply just select it, and this will bring up the object properties panel on the right-hand side of the screen. And you can see that there is a definition option and an attributes option. Now, the definition option, this is going to allow you to adjust the lines in the actual title block. So if I click on definition, I've now gone into the actual block and I'm now seeing all the individual lines that make up that block. I'm also seeing the text. And if I zoom in really close here, and if you take a look at the text, there's a couple of things that I want to point out. So if I hit escape on my keyboard, which is how you exit out of the definition, when I zoom in on the text, I can see that there's different properties of text associated to this title block. So we have actual text, we have a logo, and we have some text that has a hashtag in front of it. And these are going to be different attribute styles that we can adjust. So if I select that title block once again, and I click on the definition, here I can see that, again, this is just normal text. So this is just typed in text. It is just individual text that was typed into the text edit box. Here we have, again, just normal text. When I double click on it, we look at it and we can see just the normal text in the edit box. When I look at text like this that has the $ in front of it and I double click on it, this is going to bring up a different style of text, and this is going to be an attribute. Now, an attribute is, again, going to be text, but it's going to be a text that's attached to the block, and it's going to change with each insertion of that particular block itself. For example, you can add attributes to a title block that prompts for the designer's name, the current date, or the drawing sheet number each time someone inserts the title block into a new drawing. Each separate insertion of the block can have unique attribute text values. So each title block can have its own street number as an example. That is what makes them different than just adding in normal text. So each insertion of a block that has text will have the exact same text, but each insertion of a block that has attributed text can all be different text depending on the insertion of that title block. So as an example here, we have project name. So this is going to be a link to a different part of the program. So right now, when we say project names, when I see a $, this is going to be associated with parts of the text that are going to be related to the project itself. So this, I want to stay the same for each sheet. So no matter what sheet I add in, I always want to make sure the project name is the same, the address is the same, the city is the same, the contact name is the same, because that's not going to change per sheet. This text actually links up with, and if I hit escape on my keyboard, this text links up with the project manager. And here we can see project name, client name, address, and city. So this information here is, again, going to be the same on every single sheet, but unique to the drawing file that I'm working in. So I would want to make sure that my project has this information filled out, and then it's going to automatically update in here. If I go back into the edit definition and I look at different attributed text like drawing name and page number, these are going to be attributed texts that actually change per sheet. So when I double click on these, we can see that the edit attribute is a little bit different. So here I can see the drawing name tag, and it's going to prompt me with what is the sheet name that you want to add in. So it's going to prompt with that, and I can type in whatever value that I want. This, again, is going to be information that changes per sheet. And again, to get out of there, you're just going to simply hit escape on your keyboard to exit out of a definition. So let's add in a piece of attributed text so that you can see how it works. So we're going to select this option here again. We're going to select our title block. We're going to go into edit definition. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go in and we're going to add in a piece of attributed text. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in some text into our existing title block. Let's just give it a name. Let's just add in. We'll change the date here to be an attributed text. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to delete this text out, and I'm just going to go up and I'm going to select the, underneath the insert, I'm just going to say insert attribute. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to go in and say, I just want this to be date. And then the prompt is going to be date. I just want that to be all caps. So it's going to go date. And then we're going to have a prompt of date. And in here, we're going to make sure that we have a definition of how we want that text to look. So do we want month, day, year, day, month, year? You can adjust that exactly how you want. So we're going to go day, month, and then we're going to go year. And then we're going to say, okay. And I'm going to place that in right here. So when I add in that date scale right now, when I add in that date text right here, as soon as I hit escape on my keyboard, it's going to show me the day, the month, and the year. And I can adjust the actual positioning of it. So we're going to move this. I'm going to go back into here and I'm going to say I want this to be left justified. And now what we're going to get is the ability to move this into place like so. Hit escape. And we're going to go in and we can now set our actual values here. So if I go back in and I say edit attributes, I can now see that we have a new option at the bottom called day, month, and year. So today's date is going to be the 6th of February 2024. So I'm going to go in and say 06, 02, and we're going to go 2024. And then we're going to say okay and okay. And I do need to adjust the position of this. So we're just going to move this off to the side here. And we're going to go back in and hit escape. And now we can see that attributed text has now changed. And we're just, again, going to move this. I think I may need to just update this view a little bit here. There we go. And it will add in that new date for us. Now, the benefit of this is that change is also going to affect every sheet that I've added in. So every sheet is now also going to have this information, and I just need to actually go in and redefine it, and it will adjust it accordingly. So if I just go back into here and move this guy over, like so. So now I can see the day, the month, and the year. And then on this sheet, I can adjust the date. So every sheet will now have this new day, month, and year being edited for us. And if you've edited it, you will need to just go in and just update it. So you will need to update the view. So even though it looks like it's not here, it's just a refresh of the title block to get it to show up properly. And then we go back into our main view and we will see the actual text here. Again, if we want to make sure that our project manager is taking into account, we can go into our project manager. And again, we're just going to say the project name is going to be Bob's House. The client is going to be Bob. And the address is going to be 123 Fake Street. And the city is going to be Guelph. And when I say okay to that, when I look at the title block, it's now updated with that information. And on each sheet, it has also updated with all of that information. So everything has now been updated because it's part of the actual project. And as you can see, every sheet now has Bob's house information in there. Now, the last thing I want to show you is how to edit the title block to show your company information in it. So by default, we ship the catalog or the templates out with our company logo and our company information in it. So I'm going to go back into edit definition. I'm going to say, well, I don't want the Cadsoft logo in here, so I'm going to delete that out. My title block or my logo is going to have my company information in it, so I don't need that text in there. I just want to insert my logo into this area. So I want to do a quick measurement here. So I'm going to type in DI and I'm going to measure from here to here. And I can see that that is about 15 feet. And we're going to go down and we can see that it's about 8 feet high. So we're going to go up and we're going to say, I now want to insert an image. So I'm going to import an image and I've just created a very simple title logo on my desktop here, example logo. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, I want this to be at a height of 8 feet. And then I'm just going to simply say insert. So now attached to my cursor is going to be that image. I'm going to attach it to my title block. I'm going to zoom out, hit escape. And then I always like to hit the zoom extents just to make sure I'm zoomed all the way out. So zoom extents. And now again, on each sheet, you're going to see that new company logo with the information assigned to it. So again, we're just going to zoom out on each sheet just to make sure that everything is visible the way that we want. So when you create your own title blocks, you can insert your own images. That image can have all the information that you want in it. So if you want to have the actual name of your company, as well as your tagline and slogan, or if you want your company address in here, you can do that in your actual image file and then just import the image into your title blocks. And this is the first step towards creating your own custom title blocks for creating and using in your actual templates. And that is going to be one of our future webinars, is how to create a template. So that covers everything that I wanted to talk about in today's class about adding in title blocks and editing them. So if you do happen to have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and type those into the questions area, and I will do my best to answer those for you. I'm just going to go over a quick review of what we've learned in today's class, and then we'll go through and answer any questions that may have come up. So in today's class, we went through and we looked at how you could insert a title block, be it a title block that you have already created in a DWG format, or just taking advantage of the predefined title blocks that we ship with the program in different sizes available to you that you would normally print on. We then looked at how to edit a title block, being able to edit the actual lines by adding in lines or deleting lines, by selecting the title block and adjusting the definition, and being able to take a line and you can actually move these lines around or delete them out to again update your view. And then as soon as you hit escape, it will update that update that title block, and then each title block will also be adjusted. We also looked at how to add and edit text, and we looked at the different text formats, be it just plain text, attributed text that is going to link to your project manager, or attributed text that is going to be sheet driven. So again, I'm just going to open up the questions and answers area just to see if anybody has any questions. I'm not seeing anything just yet, so I will pause here for a moment just to see if anybody has any questions. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the class, I will be sending out an email that will contain a document that's going to cover everything that we talked about. So if you happen to have any questions while doing that on your own time, you can contact our support department. We are open Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be happy to help you out with any questions you might have. All right, perfect. Well, there doesn't appear to be any questions, so I do want to thank everybody for attending today's class. I do look forward to speaking with you all again very soon. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.